on our next guest after a quick word from FanDuel. You guys know I love sports. I love them so much I never want them to stop. But as we get deeper and deeper into the summer, we get fewer and fewer games, and the sports just don't sports like I want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right, there's something for everyone every day all summer long. So head over to FanDuel.com/UCSS and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. And with that, let's welcome in Ray Schulte, who's here to give us some more information on the massive card and collectible show coming to Cleveland next week. What's up, Ray? How you doing today?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Ray, it's a pleasure to have you. Jay Crawford here. I know we made some contact last week. Looking forward to seeing you in person when you come here. I was bragging earlier about the star power at this convention. And I have in front of me a list of all of the folks that are going to be in town Wednesday through Sunday. Wednesday's very short because it's later in the day, but Len Barker is the first guy on the name. I'm going to read you just the guests that are going to be here before 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Earl Campbell, Trevor Hoffman, Andre Tippett, Heinz Ward, Jim Kelly, Anthony Munoz, Cal Ripken Jr., Lawrence Taylor, Doug Flutie, Joe Green, Tony Baselli. This list goes on. Thurman Thomas, Johnny Manziel, of particular note to us, Mike Singletary, Bruce Smith, Urban Meyer. It is, and now we're 3 hours into the show. It goes on. There's hundreds of names, and each one is just as impressive as the one before it. How in the world do you get all these guys to come to this show?
Well, I mean, when you can attract 100,000 people, you brought up some memories for me, Jay, because, I've been with Mattingly since '84. So I went through that whole Kevin Ross situation. And Kevin's a great guy. He's really a good guy. But anyway, as a representative, you always look at venues and attractions that are going to, bring in a lot of the, your fans and collectors, and for the Nationals, it's a no-brainer to have their client there because they've got such a quantity and number of people coming in buying tickets. So and it's just the way TriStar is our vendor who brings in, actually responsible for bringing in the athletes. It's just really logistically just so simple. But it's great because they know they're going to meet some really cool fans at a venue like this. This event is not like a card show. People say, well, it's a card show. It's not a card show. It's an experience. You're talking about 500,000 square feet. You're talking about 5 days, kids under 12 and under getting free. It's family oriented, but you've got everything there. Every trading card manufacturer, every authentication house, every grading company. And so who's who of who's there. So it's one of those places where everybody, not just collectors and fans, but athletes want to come too. So it's a really, really great draw.
Ray, is this going to involve any other cards, or only is going to have athletic cards?
No, that's a great question because within the last year or two, I think the expansion of the collectibles industry has been in pop culture, and pop culture brings in other varieties, other things like Star Wars, and opens it up to other trading cards. So then there'll be soccer, there'll be fighting, there'll be it kind of really. We have a saying that if you can't find it at the National, it just doesn't exist.
Ray, my son has 4 of the most popular or most in demand Pokemon cards. Charizard, I've heard him mention. Can folks bring these cards to this show and find buyers and get them graded and all of that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's the whole part of buying, selling, and trading. I mean, a lot of these dealers are from around the country, Canada, Mexico. And they actually look for it and hope that people bring in items that they would sell to them because they go to a different part of the country. And so they're getting merchandise that normally you wouldn't get anywhere else. So, yeah, they definitely would love to have that come in. And I think you also, too, in a way, you can bring in Pokemon. You can bring in stuff that your grandfather gave you that you have no clue is this a real autograph, a fake autograph? And you can bring it in, and they'll do free authentication. They'll do authentication. They'll do free appraisals, and so it's kind of like a one-stop shop for anyone. But it is really, when we say it's a once in a lifetime. It really is.
Ray, you said it's bigger than a card show. And so when you hear the word collectible, that obviously transcends just cards. What other types of items are at these things?
Well, we have the auction houses coming in, and we have like Dorothy's ruby slippers coming in. Now, can you imagine that?
Wow.
The value. We have a lot
actual
of
ruby slippers
Willie
from the
Mays.
movie?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm guessing
Well,
that's worth
and the
more
thing
than
I'd like to-
$1.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing I like to, that I want to emphasize too is that, when these corporates and when these auction houses, when they plan on coming to the National, they bring things that they normally wouldn't let out of their office, because they're on consignment, but they'll bring it to the National because they know they get the biggest exposure and the most opportunity to sell those products. But it runs a gamut in terms of like I said, ruby slippers to game used jerseys, to trading cards, to pop culture, just about everything. And that's what's so great about it. And I think the pop culture has really expanded the industry in terms of now it's, in the old days, it used to be, maybe an older gentleman and his son, they were the collectors. But now today it's the mother, it's the daughter, it's the son, the grandparents, because the pop culture has, opened this door up, because now you have Star Wars, which is not just male or female, it's universal. And then with the Star Wars, you have everything that comes with it: collectibles, trading cards, and bobbleheads, all that. So it really is pretty fascinating. I've been doing this for 14 years, and I still get excited when I walk through the opening doors there, because there's things that you've never seen before and probably wouldn't see in a typical scenario anywhere around the country.
Yeah, it really is the holy grail of card shows. And speaking of holy grail, when I was younger and really starting my collecting life, to me, I always heard that there was a Ty Cobb, I think, tobacco issued card, and there was the Mickey Mantle card was such a valuable card. What is that holy grail item today?
Well, it's funny you say that, because one of our auction houses will be bringing in a Honus Wagner T206.
Yeah, Honus Wagner. I'm sorry, I said Ty Cobb. It was the Honus Wagner. Yeah.
And you'll have the opportunity, you being any of the attendees, to actually just hold the Honus Wagner and get your photo taken with it. And then
What's
there's
that
the
worth
Mickey
now?
Mantle.
The Honus Wagner one.
Man,
What's that worth now?
Oh, it's millions. I mean, I wouldn't be the right person to. I don't want to give a wrong estimate, but it's up there. I mean, it's an amazing value. But we have, Mickey Mantle's really, up there in that stratosphere too. And again, we have another company that you can hold a Mickey Mantle, and Lou Gehrig bat, the game use bat. So you're gonna be in a situation where you're gonna have an experience that you just can't get anywhere else. And what I tell people is that you don't even have to buy anything. All you have to do is just come down, check it out, look around. It's probably like the world's biggest, best quality museum ever assembled in one spot.
Do you guys have, we talk about some of the old school players, obviously guys that played in the 20s and the 30s. Do you guys have like futures, right? Is there some guys that are in industry now where you're like, wow, in about 60 years, that guy's going to be, his cards are going to be worth X amount? Or do you guys kind of go around and pick guys who you think are going to be really popular in cards, or can you not tell? You just have to wait to time to tell?
Well, from the modern day trading card business, the manufacturers they're all up on that. They've scouted everybody, and Topps, they're continually coming out with new projections, new younger athletes coming out, and they'll always doing that, and again they'll highlight that at the National. But the thing is that there's so many experts at the National that if you have questions like that, easy to find somebody to answer it, and easy to find somebody. And I think the biggest thing, and Jay, I hope all you guys can make it. But you go down there and you meet these people, and then all of a sudden you got friends for life.
Yeah.
And that's really the cool thing about it, is that you go in there, and if you have a question, maybe that guy was in California or Texas, but now you have somebody as a reference that you can call and say, "Hey, I met you at the National. I've got this question," and that's where the hobby, the community comes into play. And for me, that's what it's all about. It's all about collecting. It's not necessarily the modern cards or the vintage. It's all about the concept of collecting. And I was telling somebody earlier, basically, that it's all about life, creating memories. And you do that by photos, you do that by music, and you do that by collecting. And I think that's what keeps us going.
Right.
I don't have much of a collectible collection. I did as a kid. I had massive. But the one thing that I have from my life is a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar signed basketball that I got 20, 30 years ago probably. It's like the one autograph that I have. So I can bring that ball and get it authenticated and get a value on it next week?
Absolutely, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Ray, for those that are in our audience that are watching that and just heard Jason's story, and I was in communication with you earlier this week because, to be perfectly honest, I wasn't sure how it worked. PSA are sort of they're the gold standard in grading cards, and I think they do memorabilia too, but I know they do cards.
Sure.
I wasn't sure. I have a Jordan rookie that I want to get it graded. I want to see, is it the 10 that I think it is? Is it a 9? I don't know, but I want that official earmark on it that says PSA looked at this and this is what they graded at. What is the process for someone like Jason or myself that wants to bring an item to the show and have PSA graded? Because it's my understanding that they're doing on-site grading, and you can get that memorabilia back and graded by end of show, which to me is remarkable.
Well, they don't, normally grading companies, don't do that. They usually bring it back to their offices, and there's a wait time on it. But again, it's one of the services that they provide people because of the enormity of the show and the popularity of the show, that it just, they bring, I can't tell you how many people they bring, and not just PSA, but all the grading companies. But yeah, all you have to do is come in. But Jay, the great thing about that is that you can go in there and talk to different exhibitors, show them your card, and get feedback from them as well, because they're veterans. They know what the industry is like, and then you can take it to PSA, and then you can figure out. So I would just like roam the floor, ask some questions, and then when you're ready, you could take it to PSA, or there's 4 or 5 other grading companies there too. And you may want to check everyone out, just make sure that you feel comfortable.
Very good. Ray, it's great being in touch with you. I look forward to running into you at the show. It's next week. It's going to be massive. I really can't wait. Aside from the Super Bowl, and Jason has worked for The Athletic for years, Jason, you would probably second this. When you look at the list of people that are going to be in town, it's my contention that the only place on the planet where you're going to get that quality of athletic superstar is the Super Bowl.
Probably.
But the beauty of this is, as you know, the Super Bowl is mostly football driven. When you look at the list of stars that are coming into Cleveland over the next week, it's from all facets of the sporting world, and it is an impressive
You're
list.
reading a list that's like you have NBA All-Star Weekend where they bring them all in.
Right.
But it's only
It's
NBA
basketball.
guys. Yeah, this is such a unique mix. This is going to be a lot of fun.
It is.
Yeah.
Ray, I can't wait to see you out there. Have a great time, and thanks for joining us on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. We appreciate it.